Potter and Randall County actually have one of the highest rates of abuse in the state of Texas. When we look at Potter County, our rate is about 3 times higher than the state rate of abuse per 1,000 children. And so that's something that's alarming to us. It's something that's not okay. It doesn't discriminate. It happens in North Amarillo, South Amarillo, East, West. As a community, we have to stand up and say, you know, this isn't okay for our kids.
All of our advocates, they truly act as a voice for children who have been removed from their homes by CPS, and a judge has determined that a Casa is necessary for their case. So they really work hard to get to know that child, get to know the case backwards and front, and really everything that's involved in that case, the biological parents, the foster parents, the CPS itself, anything that might help their research and investigation to help determine what's going to be in the best interest for the child.
There is so much hurt inside them that when someone tells them that they are a difficult child to live with, they take that as that they are unlovable and unacceptable. You are there for the child. You can tell the court what the child wants. You can make a recommendation. You can have your input in all of the organizations.
Some of these kids have been indoctrinated not to trust anybody with the court systems, authority, police, or especially Child Protective Services. Casa is just, I tell people, you know, if you have the time and you're willing and want to give to the community, you donate your time, they train you, and then you get assigned a case, and specifically a kid or a group of kids, and your job is to just be sure that those kids are treated fairly and that their problems and their wishes are brought to my attention or to any of the judge's attention. These attorneys have so many cases and they can only spend so much time with each kid, whereas the Casa volunteers, they spend much more time with the children than any of the state authorities can, simply because they don't have the caseload. I probably learn a lot more about what these kids' needs are and what their wants are because of the Casa worker than I would if I didn't have them. So in my court, it plays a very major role. I tell all my Casa programs that if I had my way, every kid would have a Casa worker. Unfortunately, there's just not enough volunteers to do that.
In 2014, we served 460 children within our 7 counties, and that's still only about 50% of the kids that are actually in care. And each volunteer, on average, will serve about 2 children. We still need roughly 40 to 50 volunteers to hit that max, to hit that goal. And a lot of our cases that come through, I would say about 90% of our cases that we're dealing with, drugs are involved. And so, you know, drugs is kind of that primary issue, which leads to secondary issues, which could be domestic violence, it could be sexual abuse, obviously neglect.
The majority of our advocates are females, but we need, you know, I mean, it's so important to have men as advocates because these kids need to see a positive male role model. They need to know that not, you know, every man that comes into their life, you know, is going to abuse them. Lots of times people think, well, the abuse is between the man and the wife, but 60% of the time, if they're abusing the mother, the kids are also going to get abused. These kids need to see that not every man in their life is going to abuse them. They need to see, you know, that there are men that are out there that are loving.
The Casa volunteer is the steady person, the person that is there for the child over a long period of time.
That Casa volunteer, we try to make sure those kids know this Casa volunteer is not part of the government, not part of the court. They're there, they're volunteering their time just to help take care of these kids, and I think it puts them at ease. And I think that's why it is such a vital role, is it makes this terrible situation for these kids a little more bearable.
Just imagine as a 6-year-old to have to go in a huge courtroom to a 6-year-old in front of all of these people, the judge, the bailiff, the lawyers, CPS, Casa, all of these people, maybe your own mother and father, and have to sit there and tell them what happened to you and what's in your best interest and where you want to be and why that's a good decision for you. For a 6-year-old to have to sit there and rehash all of that and speak very clearly and very effectively about what's in their best interest, they can't do it. They can't do it, and that's the opportunity that we have. They don't have to do it. They don't have to, because you know what? We're going to go and we're going to do it for them.
There are literally hundreds of kids that are just waiting waiting for somebody to step up and say, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be your voice, and I'm going to help you through this system.